Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Craig. This is Spirit of Vinyl. Hope you guys all had a wonderful week. It's finally Friday. Going to break open the beer. Yingling's Flight. 2.6 carb, 95 calories. This was left over from my birthday party last weekend. Somebody brought it over, drank, left them in my fridge. So, never had it before. I've had Yinglings, but I've never had this one before. See how it tastes here. Probably just like I expect. Not bad. Not bad. Not as good as Ultra. I think the Michelob Ultra is probably a better beer if you're going for this low carb, low calorie beer. It's not terrible though. It's not like it's a Coors Light or anything. So, hope you guys all had a great week. What I'm going to do tonight is I am going to do the not very official vinyl tag of 2026 put out by David Atkinson. He's got 20 questions he wants us to ask or he wants us to answer or whatever about 2025 and so on. So we're going to go at it, try to get it through as fast as possible. All right, so let's see here. Question 1, the best purchase of 2025. I gotta say my best purchase of 2025 is going to be this Black Sabbath self-titled repress Rhino Records. This was re-released in 2025. It is a very, very great sounding press. The Rhinos, of course, are always done very well. It is just black on there. It did come with like this insert here that looks like, you know, the tape and the notes from and it's got a nice little story inside. They did a really good job with this. I'm super impressed with it. Of course, we all know Rhinos sound really, really good. Had the little Obi looking thing here. It gatefolds open like this. Very nice press. It was well worth the money, especially when I had to totally, I had to replace my old copy. It was pretty much hammered. So that's the answer to that question. My favorite release of 2025, or my favorite pickup of 2025 is this Sabbath self-titled album. All right, question 2. Favorite live your favorite live experience, musical experience for the year. I got my favorite, probably this right here. I got to see Static X again this year with Mudvayne and Vended. That was a really good time. That's my most recent. I didn't go to a whole lot of concerts, but I did have a really great time if we're talking about musical experiences. In September, me and my wife went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee for our anniversary, and we were doing the touristy stuff. And back in Gatlinburg, there's a distillery there, and they have like a whole block area, and you can go in and buy all the moonshine you want or whatever. But they have like a live stage and all these chairs, and there was like this bluegrass band. I guess you would call it bluegrass. Banjo, stand-up bass, mandolin, guy on the guitar, guy on the drums, and it was just so much fun and amazing to watch. I've never seen live banjo before, live mandolin playing before, and they were playing that bluegrass style of music, and it was a lot of fun. That was a really good time, and I was really super impressed, even though that's not my style of music that I normally like to listen to. So I would say it's one of those two, that or the Static X show. As a metal guy, I'm probably going to go with Static X, but I had a lot of fun in Gatlinburg that day. So, all right. Question 3. Your record collection in 10 years is going to be bigger, smaller, or the same. I would have to say at the rate I'm going, my record collection will definitely be bigger in 10 years. I've really only been heavily collecting for about 5. You know, before I moved here to Tennessee, I probably had 100 records, and now I've got 900. I've been here for 4.5 years, so obviously I would assume it's going to be bigger. It's definitely not going to get smaller. I have really a hard time letting go of stuff. And it may not get as big. I may not add another 900 in the next 10 years because honestly, with tasting music and stuff, I don't buy as much. Once I started filling out things, there's always going to be stuff. There's always going to be stuff to fill in, so it's definitely going to be bigger. Let's see. Next, question 4. New home. First play. Hey, guess what? It's the one record I forgot to pull out. So if you move into a new home, what's the first thing you're going to play really loud to announce your presence? So I'm going to go with this. Rock and Roll Over by Kiss. Great record. Play it loud. Good. I mean, this is probably the best of the original band's albums, in my opinion. I think this is the best one. Just good hard rocking stuff on here. It's got I Want You and Take Me and Calling Dr. Love and Ladies Room and Ladies Room. All that on there. Just perfect record all the way through and through. Just the way to announce to the whole neighborhood that a Kiss fan has moved in. So there we go. All right. 2 albums, favorite male and female singers and why. So I kind of struggled with this, with favorite female singer especially. There's a lot of female singers I do like, and I really, ultimately, I broke it down to this. I'm going to pick Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry of Blondie. I mean, just a great voice, a great stage presence, a great look. So as I really sat and thought about who is your favorite female singer, and, I started thinking of like Tatiana from Ginger and, Morgan Lander from Kitty and those type of metal singers. But when it comes really down to it, I got to go with Deborah Harry, just like the OG. When it comes to style, when it comes to substance, great songs, great voice, great stage presence, and just a cool person all the way around. So, and when it comes to male singers, to me, I almost went with Dio, but I'm going with Corey Taylor or Slipknot, man. I've seen this guy multiple times. His voice is tremendous. He is a great frontman, and he is a great singer. Corey Taylor of Slipknot, I would have to say, is probably my favorite male lead singer. Okay. Top 3 says, we like to have fun. So the top 3 soul and dance records you have. Well, that was pretty easy because I don't have that much of it. So I have no soul music at all. I'm not really into soul and R&B type of stuff. So when it comes to dance music, I got a little bit there. ABBA, Voulez-Vous, one of my moms. So this is definitely disco style dance music. So there's that one there. Boney M, Night Flight to Venus, also very danceable, disco style, techno sounding. So Rah Rah Rasputin, and of course the all-time Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. If you can't dance to this, I don't know what's wrong with you. So there we go. All right. Track you hate from an album you love. Question 7. An album I love is Kiss Unmasked, which I love a lot, but the song You're All That I Want, that song just bothers me. It always has. On the plus side is the last song on side 2, so I can think of many a times, especially as a teenager or whatever, listen to this record, get to You're All That I Want, and just lift the needle and call it good, because that song, I don't like that song at all. So there we go. That's an album I love because I think this is a great album. Ace is singing on this a lot. This is, and it's poppy and it's sort of, Kiss Goes Disco bullshit or whatever you want to call it. It's just a good hard rock album. It really is. But yeah, that song, You're All I Want, I don't care for it at all. All right, next question. Question 8, one album from the last 6 decades. I'm skipping that because, you just randomly go through and pick, I could have done it. It would have been easy enough. I've got albums from all 6 decades, but I didn't want to think too hard on it, and I didn't want it to be, this is my favorite album from this decade or favorite album from that, so I'm just going to skip over that question. All right, question 9. If you could spend the day with one artist in the city or the mountains or the beach, who would you pick? And and then there's part two of that question is a must-ask question to that person. It would be questions 9 and 10. And I thought long and hard on this, and you could always go with, go hang out with, Jane Wyland from the Go-Go's back in the 80s, but I don't know if I'd want to hang out with her now. But back in the 80s, Lita Ford, stuff like that. But right now, I'm going to say Marilyn Manson. And I would have more than one question for that guy. But we would talk about religion and spirituality. And that would be the question I would ask. And that was why I would want to hang out with Marilyn Manson in the city, in a dark bar somewhere, drinking, Bloody Marys or whatever, and just having a chat and not even really talking about music. Just because I've seen interviews with him and he seems so intelligent and well-spoken, and I would love to just hang out with that guy for a couple hours and just kind of pick his brain on his thoughts on religion, spirituality, and the way of the world and different things like that. I just really think we'd probably get along really, really well. So, all right. Question 11. A track that brings a tear to your eye, or are you a heartless bastard? I am a heartless bastard. Songs don't make me tear up. Songs do give me goosebumps sometimes, and I know some songs are sad, but I don't tear up. Sorry, I just don't, so I guess I'm a heartless bastard. Question 12. 3 artists you try to love. 3 artists that I try to love, and I didn't pull out the records. I have some of these, and my first band that I kind of try to love, that I've tried to love, is the Eagles. I have some Eagles records here. I bought Hotel California recently, and I was severely disappointed in that record. Probably my worst purchase of 2025. It's like, it's got like 2 good songs that I can hear on the radio every day of the week. Besides the rest of this album is weak as shit. So, and I just don't understand people's obsession with the Eagles. I just don't get it. So that's a band that I try to listen to and I try to love, and besides their greatest hits record, I really can't see. I actually got rid of some when I did my purge earlier this year, so that's one band that I try to love. Number 2, another band that I try to love, and I know this band gets a lot of love out there in the VC, and that is Yes. And I do love the record 90125. That was the record, of course, that came out when I would have been a teenager, so of course I have something for that. But I actually bought like Toramato and some other Yes records, and I try to listen to them, and I just can't really. I can get through that one from the 80s, 90125, but I can't get through the other stuff. So I ended up selling them back or whatever. So Yes is a band I have tried to love, and I just can't. Another band that I've tried to love, that I do like, but I can't say that I love them. I love one album from them for sure, and that's the Beatles. I like Beatles music when you hear it and all the hits and stuff like that, but as for buying records and like buying the White Album or buying Abbey Road or Rubber Soul and any of that, I really can't see myself spending the money on those records because I don't like them enough. I own Sgt. Pepper's because it's Sgt. Pepper's. So the Beatles is another band that I try to love. I don't really love the Beatles. I like the Beatles, but I don't love the Beatles. So that's another band I can't really, say that I love. So, all right, question 13. An artist whose character disappoints you, or can you separate the art from the artist? I separate the art from the artist, yes. Being an 80s metalhead guy, and my political leanings are more of a libertarian than anything else, I obviously listen to music that does not align with me on character-wise on some things that I believe or whatever. But you know what? Art is art and music is music, and there's been a lot of bands that have said things that I may not agree with. Mostly this question comes down to politics, And I may disagree with bands on some of that, but if the music is good, the music is good. I mean, that's it. I can separate that out. I don't get disappointed by artists because they said something or they have some sort of character flaw, that it is what it is. So, all right. Question 14. If you had to sell all but one album, which one would you keep? I would keep this record right here, Kiss Alive 3, and not because it is a great record. I would keep it because when I had a chance to meet the band back in 1996, I bought that and I had them sign on the vinyl. This is the white vinyl that's in that. And so I'd have to keep this because this has my Kiss autographs on it. So that would be the one I would keep. If I had to sell everything, the one I would never get rid of is Kiss Alive 3 due to that reason right there. Okay, VC highlights of 2025. My highlight in the VC of 2025 was more recent. I mean, all the people have always been really good to me over the last couple years I've been doing this. When I did my birthday contest, it just barely ended, and all the support I got like 30 entries, and I hit my 300, push to 300 goal well before the time frame was over, and all the love I was getting from people, and all of you people out there, and you know who you are, who support me every single day, that is my, that is my VC highlight. I would have to say that. That contest, that birthday contest had, 300 views or something like that. And like I said, I got 30 or so entries, and I got well over the 300 supporters. And to you new supporters who are watching me right now, I really appreciate that. You made my highlight of the VC. Okay, now question 16, favorite biopic. This one was a no-brainer for me, The Doors. Oliver Stone's The Doors, with Val Kilmer playing Jim Morrison. The greatest biopic that's ever been done. Second, Walk the Line about Johnny Cash with, what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix. All right. Question 17, 3 reasons why jazz matters. I don't listen to jazz, but I do understand why jazz matters. And one reason is what it's done. Without jazz, there's no rock and roll. And some of the greatest drummers in rock and roll have been jazz-style drummers. And some of the greatest guitarists have been jazz-style guitars. And just the free flow and the things that they were doing with jazz in the early days allows for things like progressive rock and stuff like that. So without jazz, I don't think any of that would matter. Is that 3? Drummers, guitar players, and allowing for the progressiveness of music to move on. The rock and roll, bands like Yes or Queensryche or whatever that are more progressive rock and progressive metal, I think that comes from a jazz background, in my opinion. So that's why. Death Row Request. You're allowed to listen to one record or one song. Which one is it? This is question 18, and I am going with Lamb of God's Sacrament because it has the song Walk With Me in Hell. And it's got Redneck on there and everything else. The whole album is kick-ass. This would be a great way to go out. And if you only got one song, you play Walk With Me in Hell. For We Are No Longer Alone, Walk With Me in Hell. So there we go. So sell your favorite artist and show an album. So selling my favorite artist. My favorite artist is obviously Kiss, in case you haven't noticed from the things I've shown there or whatever. So the one album I would use to sell Kiss is Double Platinum right here. This is a greatest hits record that was put out after the first 6 records back in like 1975 or somewhere, 1978, sorry. And I know that Mirrored Makes It Hard, but Strutter and Do You Love Me and Hard Luck Woman, Calling Dr. Love, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, Love Gun, God of Thunder. I mean, this is everything. This is all the hits off the first 6 albums. And, to sell Kiss to people, you have to just say, look beyond the makeup and look beyond what they were to the eye and listen to the music. Comparing it to bands of their era, they were talented. They wrote great pop, rock, hard rock songs. They had great guitar players, just great harmonies. They were a great band. Good songwriting, just nice 3.5 minute songs. You know, it wasn't anything you had to think about or whatever. It was just fun and catchy and a good time. Kiss is a good time. So, and if you get this record, you get all the hits, and you listen to that for a while, and I honestly think that would make you a fan of this band. So that's my selling point on that. All right. Question 20 is 3 VC members you would like to meet the most. I'm not going to do that because there are more than 3 of them. I have not met any VC members in person at this point in time. That should be remedied this July when I go up and me and the wife are going to go up to Buffalo and go hang out at the VC meetup that Mike does at MGK Boston. So I'm not going to pick 3 because I can think of 5 off the top of my head immediately, and probably 10 more right after that, and probably another 15 more after that I would love to meet. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to meet anybody in person yet, just people I've talked to, and I would love to meet all of them. So, all right, so that's the 20 questions, and it took me 20 minutes and 53 seconds. So, not too bad. Cheers to the BC. Cheers to you. Thanks, David Atkinson, for putting this out, this unofficial 2025 vinyl tag, and I will talk to y'all probably next week. All right, have a good one, guys.